Okay, hello everybody. So I wanted to show you what I've been working on. This is um, a keyboard featherwing by Arturo 182. And on the rear I've got can't see it, but it's an M4 Express feather board for processing and a LoRa featherwing, 915 megahertz featherwing. And I've wired it all up, and I've got a lithium ion battery here. So I call it the Apocalypse Communicator. There's been other devices like this, but what I like about this is it's off-the-shelf stuff. Yeah, so I'll show you how it works. So maybe I'll zoom in a bit. Okay, this one has a grounding problem, so just excuse that. I've been calling it FeatherBerry in my head. So I've got some apps here. Like I was working on a brick breaker app, but that was just silly. This app is Greenhouse Monitor, so it will receive signals from my various greenhouses to see what's happening. So M1 that you see there is actually the mushroom growing room, so it's receiving signal directly from the mushroom growing room radio output. So that's kind of cool, and it just goes and updates every time there's a major change in the output. Anyway, so maybe I can zoom in just a hair more. Alright, so there is a touchscreen on this, but I disabled it because I was having some software trouble with it. Okay, so if I switch to messages, we get this message screen. And then if I go and type something, hello. So I typed it on this one, and it radioed over to this one. And then there's actually, in the bottom right there, that's a delivery receipt, the plus sign, just saying that another device, hopefully the device you want, received it. So that's kind of cool. Same goes here. If I just say, how are ya? It sends it over, and then I get that delivery receipt. So there's lots to do for the code for this, but it's working pretty nicely, and it's integrated with my other sort of radio services. Now I also this board has a Stemma QT port, so in theory you could hook up just about any peripheral and use it with the board. So I have an SI7021, which is a temperature sensor, and I'm going to just see if I can't just hot swap it in. And yeah, there it goes. So I've hot swapped that in. And, oh, it didn't like something about that. There it goes. So self is what I've called that one. And then basically if there's any change, like if I put my thumb on the thing, temperature readout changes. So yeah, so pretty cool. Pretty happy about that. What else? I made a little, config setup. You can change radio frequency, your spreading factor, your call sign, things you might want to deal with when you're on the radio. Color settings, you can change the colors of the device so that it's kind of personalized to your style. I like the maroon actually. Wow, these colors look very different than they do on my camera. So about the config stuff, I haven't done timer date or MISC yet because there's no RTC on this board, so I didn't think it was that important yet. The config stuff gets saved on the M4 Express's internal QSPI flash. So if you go and change something, like if we go and change the background color to, I don't know, something wonky. So I've changed the background color. Now, when I shut off and then I turn it back on, I made a bunch of splash screens for fun. you can see that now that it's come back on, it's retained its color. So that variable that describes the color of the background actually gets stored in the QSBI flash and then called, and then it gets called when on boot. So that's kind of nice. Same with the radio config stuff. So it's just sort of like a little bit of like an operating system feature. But I don't like that color. I like these colors. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that overall. It was a bit of a chore to get some of these buttons working because they're not really mapped anywhere, but got them working. The keyboard works great. A couple of buttons were funny, but mostly quite easy to map. What do I need to do next? The next things I need to do are the Messages app. I'd like to save conversations either to the QSBI flash or to an SD card, because then your conversations that you've been having with people with these devices can get saved, just kind of like an SMS app on a phone. For me personally, I'd like to be able to control some of this stuff from the greenhouse monitor. For example, I'd like to be able to control the fan that exhausts the excess CO2 in the mushroom room. I'd like to write a bunch more code for more peripherals, because it would be great if you could just slap whichever kind of common peripherals you want in and the code just works for it. I like to do bitmap images. I know that the ILI 93041 has a bitmap image reader library. I haven't gotten that working yet. What else? There's lots I want to do. The ALS, there's an ambient light sensor right here. It'd be nice to control the backlight of the screen, and there's actually a backlight on the keyboard. I'm using that. And then there's a NeoPixel here. So I was thinking with the Messages app, if you were receiving messages but you weren't on the Messages app, to have the NeoPixel flash yellow or something to make that known that that's what was happening. Yeah, so that's let's zoom back out here. These are what I call my featherberries. So my feather blackberries. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think. Yeah.